Find a position that allows the body to feel supported. You may lie down or sit in a way that feels stable and at ease. Let the eyes close gently or rest unfocused. Take a moment to arrive, not arriving at clarity, not arriving at an answer, just arriving here. Notice the contact points between the body and what supports it, the weight of the body, the simple fact of being held. There is nothing you need to resolve right now, nothing you need to be certain about. Let the nervous system receive that message. Now bring attention to the breath, not to control it, but to notice it. Breathing happens, and you notice it happening. As you rest with the breath, consider this gently. Much of life unfolds before we know what it means, before we know where it leads, before we know whether we were right. Uncertainty is not a flaw in the system. It is the condition in which life is lived. Notice how the body responds to that. Perhaps a softening, perhaps a subtle tension. Whatever arises is welcome. Now bring to mind the activity of judging. Judgment is how the mind decides what to do next. It evaluates, it compares, it chooses. In a world where the future is unknown, judgment is unavoidable. Without judgment, there is no action, no direction, no movement forward. But notice something important. Every judgment is made before the next moment arrives, before its consequences are known, before its truth can be confirmed. Judgment is not a declaration of truth. It is a commitment made under uncertainty. Let that distinction settle. Discernment is judgment that remembers it might be wrong. Discernment still chooses. It still commits. It still acts. But it does not confuse decision with certainty, or confidence with correctness. Discernment holds judgment firmly enough to act and lightly enough to revise. Notice how that feels in the body. Judgment still present, but no longer rigid. Now, notice how the mind relates to what is happening. Sensations arise, thoughts appear, feelings move through. Each one offers information. This is evidence. Evidence does not insist. It suggests. It accumulates. It can point in more than one direction at once. Notice how different this is from proof. Proof wants closure. It wants the question to be finished. It wants a final answer. But lived experience does not offer the kind of proof that closes the question. It offers signals, clues, patterns over time. Discernment knows the difference. It treats experience as evidence to be weighted, not a verdict to be delivered. Notice how the body responds when nothing needs to be proven. When sensations are allowed to inform, but not command. Let experience remain evidence only, not a demand for certainty, not a conclusion. Just information, held in awareness, open to revision. Now consider the feeling of certainty. Certainty often arrives as relief, a sense of solidity, a sense of now I know. This feeling has a purpose. Under time pressure, the mind needs continuity. It needs a story that allows the next step to happen. In this way, certainty is a useful fiction, a story that stabilizes action in the present moment. But usefulness is not the same as truth. Certainty helps us move forward. It does not guarantee we're correct. Notice the difference between I feel certain and I am right. Now consider something simple about how you see. When you look at the world, it feels detailed and complete. Colors, edges, faces, all appearing at once. And yet only a very small area of your vision is actually precise, about the size of a small coin held at arm's length. Everything beyond that narrow center is inferred, filled in by the brain, predicted from memory and expectation. This does not mean perception is wrong. It means it's functional. What feels clear is often what the mind has successfully predicted. The feeling of certainty is not proof of truth. It is a sign that a prediction is holding. For now, rest with that gently. Now bring attention to confidence. Confidence is a bodily state, a readiness to act, a reduction of hesitation. Correctness, however, can only be evaluated later, after the outcome, after the consequences. Feeling certain is not evidence of being correct. Discernment asks us to separate these two. Confidence as a tool for action, correctness as something assessed in hindsight. This separation allows flexibility, learning, repair. Notice how this stance feels compared to rigid certainty. Now bring attention to something deeper than certainty or doubt. Consider value. Every judgment is made in service of something, even when we're not aware of it. Safety, connection, integrity, meaning, relief from discomfort. Value shapes what feels important, what feels urgent, what feels worth the risk. Discernment is guided not only by evidence, but by what matters. When judgments, actions, and values are aligned, the system tends to settle. There's coherence, less internal friction, less need to defend. When actions repeatedly move against what we value, the system does not relax. There is tension, a sense of being pulled apart. This is not a failure, it's information. Discernment listens for this cost, not only asking, am I correct, but also, what does this cost? Is this sustainable? Is this aligned with what I really care about? Now imagine a stand of bamboo in strong wind. If the bamboo is too rigid, it snaps. If it's too loose, it's flattened. But when it has the right balance of strength and flexibility, it bends, it adapts, and it survives. Discernment is like this. Too much certainty becomes rigidity. Too little commitment becomes collapse. Wisdom lives in the middle. Firm enough to act, flexible enough to change. Feel what it is like to embody this balance. Stable, but not stiff. Open, but not unmoored. Now reflect gently. Before a moment unfolds, we predict. During the moment, we act. After the moment, we interpret. Only in hindsight does the truth value of a judgment begin to emerge. The mind is always making its best guess about what comes next and updating that guess based on what actually happens. Discernment lives in this updating, not in being right, but in being responsive. Now return awareness to the whole body, breathing, supported, present. Sense what it is like to live with judgment that acts, confidence that moves, values that guide, and discernment that stays open. You may offer a quiet intention such as, "May I hold my judgments lightly. May I separate confidence from correctness. May I bend without breaking." Let the intention rest like a seed placed in soil. Begin to notice the room around you, sounds, temperature. Feel the contact with what supports you. Invite small movements, fingers, toes. And when it feels right, allow the eyes to open. Carry with you this orientation. Not certainty, but discernment. Not rigidity, but resilience. This is how wisdom moves in a world shaped by uncertainty.